What's going on, y'all? It's Wicked. Today we're gonna be talking about the common misconceptions as an underground producer. If you don't know who I am, I'm Wicked Archives on basically all social platforms. I've grown to almost 1,700 followers on Instagram. I've got almost like 1,200 on TikTok, and I feel that for how long I've been producing and for the growth that I've seen, I've got some advice to give because there was certain things that I kind of looked at the wrong way going into it, and the more that I got into producing, the more I started to understand that I was wrong about things. The most common misconception is that to start you need good equipment. This one is big. You do not need good equipment. Alright, equipment does not equal skill. You could have $30,000 worth of equipment, the best audio interface, the best PC, all that. But at the end of the day, you could still have all that and be trash. And that's just how it is. Equipment will never equal skill. Equipment just sort of makes your life easier, but at the end of the day, it's not a necessity. Okay, you could have a Chromebook and you could be on a free DAW. I'll put y'all on sauce with that actually real quick. Audio tool, boom, right here. This is what I started off on a Chromebook when I was like 10 years old, just messing around. Like, this right here is sauce. But really, the only things that you truly need to start would be either a laptop or a phone and some earbuds, preferably Apple earbuds. And I say that because you got to think, what are people listening to my music on? They're most likely going to be listening through AirPods and through wired headphones. And while you want the best quality possible, at the end of the day, you're not making mainstream music that's gonna get 100 million streams, or end up going platinum and getting you a plat. That's not happening just yet. That's not what you're doing just yet. So the best way that I learned starting out when you don't have equipment is to just put $20 into Apple earbuds, because you'll be able to hear how it sounds when you're mixing through those earbuds, and that's what typically most people are listening through. A lot of times it's either that or in the car, and as long as you can get that mix right through those earbuds, it's perfect. You don't need more than that. Another misconception is that you need thousands of dollars worth of plugins, and I'm gonna tell you right now, you don't. There's plenty of stock sounds that are super, super highly underrated. FL Studio, if you're on a laptop and you do have FL Studio, they do have a lot of stock plugins for you. And when you first open it, you might look through a couple sounds and think, yeah, this plugin ain't it. But it's more about deep diving into it and really looking through the sounds, because they have a lot of hidden gems in there. Another thing is one-shot kits. There's plenty of free one-shot kits out there, and if you can go ahead and download some one-shot kits and use those, you have decent sounds, and especially for whatever genre you're trying to create. And they do also have thousands of free plugins from third-party companies, and a lot of them are actually really good, like Spitfire Labs. When I was making Southside beats and stuff, their violins and everything, I loved it. And, there's also a way to get free plugins that are supposed to be paid. I'm not gonna say if I condone it or not. That's not my place. At the end of the day, it's up to you to decide where your morals stand, and if you want to follow through with it. But I'm not gonna say if I got mine legit or not. We'll go with that. Another misconception is You can't post your beats until you get better. Now, another thing about this is posting beats is more than just showing off and, you know, trying to get famous. Like, it is more than that. When you post beats, you come across a lot of different types of people. Like, you can find people that just want to hate, people who want to give you criticism to help you, or just people who just support you. But not posting, you lose out on feedback, you lose out on growth. It makes it, you know, 10 times longer to really grow your name because you're starting later. Like, what's the point starting later? Just because you're not good does not mean you shouldn't post. And really, you're going to get hate no matter what stage you're in. So you might as well do it now, so that way, while you're still trash, you know, you can get the feedback, get better, improve, and learn to deal with hate and criticism early on when you first start out. A lot of producers, they start out, they get this ego, they think they're the best, and when anybody gives them criticism, they take it to heart, they get upset, they start whining and crying about it. And I'm gonna tell you right now, that's the quickest way to ruin your image. Like, whining and crying just because someone gave you criticism and feedback, like, that's rough. Like, no one wants to deal with a whiny producer. Like, if somebody wants to work with you, they're gonna want to work with you because they see how your personality is and, you know, how you present yourself. If you present yourself as easily offended, why would somebody want to deal with that type of person? Another misconception is I need to copy, you know, whichever producer you look up to be successful in this industry. At the end of the day, you do not need to do that, and I actually advise against it because one person's path will not be your path. So you don't want to just copy someone. If you just copy someone thinking, I can just follow what they did and I'll blow up, you know, I'll get rich, I'll get famous, it's not going to work that way, because at the end of the day, they did it in their own way. You know, one person's path, that's not going to be your path. At the end of the day, you got to pave your own way. Okay, you can't just try to take a system from someone else, because that system was not built for you. That system was built for somebody different. Being unique and personalizing, that's what really stands out. And it's okay to take inspiration from other people and what they do, but copying them, that's not going to help you. You've got to put some type of twist, some type of personalization on it. You got to really tailor it to your needs and the way that you want to grow. You don't want to grow like someone else. You want to grow how you want to grow. You want to do it your way. Your way. That's how it should be. Alright, so another misconception is that complexity of a beat makes it a better beat. When it comes to, you know, the complexity of a beat, you can create that sound of being complex, but also keep it simple at the same time, because most of the time, simple beats are the ones that hit the craziest. Because when a beat is too complicated and the space is filled in too much, an artist is not going to be able to shine how they want. Like, as a producer, it's cool to make beats to listen to. Like, you know, everybody likes making the hardest beats and everything, you know, that's cool. But when it comes to making music with an artist, you're going to want a beat that's going to complement the artist, because the artist will rather select that beat rather than one that's made to just listen. And right down here at the bottom, I got simplicity creates pockets and rhythm. So when you keep things simple, it's easier to catch on to the rhythm of it. If you've got like the craziest hi-hats in the world, and then you got the craziest snares on top of it, and then you got 808s with a bunch of 808 rolls and different pitch changes, like, it's cool, but at the same time, there's no pockets to it. sometimes it can be confusing for the listener to understand where the rhythm is coming from, where the pattern's going. But really creating simple beats with space that has pockets in it for the artist to ride, that right there is what really makes the beat hard. At least in my opinion, and the artists I work with, they feel that, it always comes out crazy like that. Another misconception is that you need to learn music theory. You do not need to know music theory, okay? The only thing about music theory, because when it comes to making music, almost everything is considered music theory, because music theory is just the foundation of music, really. That's how I view it. When it comes to what you need to know, learning how to stay in key. That's the biggest thing. You want everything to be in the same key. So say you're in D minor, you don't want a note that's outside of D minor. Now, the part that gets confusing is there can be a note that's out of scale but still in key. And that's because there's also scale derivatives. Like the Phrygian scale is really a darker scale that derives from the minor scale. So it's got notes that are next to each other, and then if you put scale highlighting on for that and then switch it back to the regular minor scale, you'll notice some of the notes are different. And that's because it just derives from a minor scale, but at the end, it's still a different type of scale. Now, it's confusing, but really, you don't even need to do all that. All you need to do is just stay in either minor or major. Just worry about that for now. Later on, you can experiment and you'll start to understand more of it, but there's no reason to study it, because at the same time, it's nice to know the things just to kind of understand more and maybe understand quicker. But at the end of the day, with practice, you just catch on to a lot of it. You learn theory without studying theory, and you won't even realize that you know music theory. Another thing is scale highlighting and how to choose a scale. You always want to turn scale highlighting on, because that right there is going to teach you how to stay in key. It just shows you the notes that you're already, like, it basically shows you the notes that you're free to use and still be in scale with. When it comes to choosing a scale, the best way to kind of put it is a major scale is more for happy, upbeat type of vibes, and minor is for more sad, dark type of vibes. That's how most producers kind of explain it. And at the end of the day, it's also about which notes that you choose in that scale. But typically, minor is going to be for sad and dark, and major is for happy and upbeat. Another misconception is that you're too small to network. I hate when people think that they're too small to network, because at the end of the day, networking is what's going to be key for growth. You don't have to talk to, people with 20,000 followers. Like, you might only have 20 followers. Talk with people with like 100. Like, that's how you really grow your name, and connecting with other people just teaches you new things. Like, you'll catch on to new things the more you talk with people, and the more you really dive into topics with people. But another thing is that most producers, like, that are just slightly above you or whatever, they won't mind really teaching you things or giving you advice on things. Now, that varies based on person. That's not the case for every producer, but my Instagrams are like always open. My Discord's always open. Hit me up, text me, send me a screen recording. Like, I don't mind giving out tips and tricks, bro. Like, at the end of the day, like, I used to wish I had people like that, until I learned that you can talk to other people. Like, I used to think because I wasn't big, nobody would talk to me. But at the end of the day, 90% of people are not big in the industry. Like, there's a lot of people that are small, and just connect with them, bro. Grow your name that way, and get feedback on things and learn new things that way. Another misconception would be that you need talent more than you need consistency. Now, a lot of people think you can drop one beat and it'd be the craziest beat in the world, and that's what's going to take you off. That's not what's going to take you off, okay? Every social platform, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter. I don't really use Twitter, but I know that a lot of producers do. All these platforms reward consistency over talent, okay? Because when it comes to the algorithm, they don't know what your talent is. Like, this is just an algorithm. All these social platforms, all they can see is, okay, he's posting on these days at these times, and he's doing it this consistently. We're gonna push his content out. We're gonna find his audience. You know, okay, we see people are seeing more of his stuff, sticking around. All right, we'll boost it. Like, things like that. Talent is a fraction of the industry. There's a lot of people, like, you know, especially in the artist type of space, there's a lot of people who don't have the craziest talent and they're still huge. Like, if you look at Too Slimy and Laserdem, like, I'm not hating on them, but there's a lot of people who do hate on their music, and a lot of people take it as a joke. But at the end of the day, they're consistent with it, and their consistency just constantly gets it pushed out into people's faces. And boom, once they got plastered everywhere, like, they just kept posting. And a lot of people would think they're talentless, but whole time they're bigger than a lot of y'all. Like, they're bigger than I am. Like, I can't knock it down. But another thing would be that networking and branding matters most, because, you know, you do have to be consistent, but you also have to network and brand yourself a certain way. And you got to be consistent with how you brand yourself, because people are going to always go to the brand that they kind of connect with more. Like, when it comes to different products, it could be the same product, but if there's no advertising, no branding, no telling a story, and, you know, really no uniqueness to them, and it could be like a horrible product, people will still buy it just because of the branding. But then that same product that didn't receive branding, it could be way better than what you just bought that's got better branding, yet they still choose the one with better branding just because they can connect with it more. Another thing, man, when branding, people think they need to be all mysterious and cool. That's not the case, bro. Like, really, this isn't even my type of thing. Like, I don't really get on to videos like this and, you know, talk, but at the end of the day, like, I gotta show my personality, man, because being mysterious is one of the hardest ways to brand yourself. Like I say here, humans are designed to connect with others. Okay, we are empathetic creatures. Like, we want to connect with other people. It's just our nature. So nobody really wants to work with someone who lives in secret and they don't know who they are. Like, if I look on your page and you got maybe one post and it's a fit pic, you're not showing your face and you're trying to be all cool and mysterious, you don't even really have music on your page, like, man, I don't want to work with you. Like, I don't know nothing about you. I can't see anything about you. I just don't know you. Like, it's just, it doesn't feel real. Like, it feels like I'm connecting with a robot. And why would I want to connect with a robot, bro? I could just go to ChatGPT and, you know, do something with that. Like, I don't have to, I don't know. It's just, branding, you really have to be human at the end of the day. So for the last one of this video, if I don't blow up, I failed. This is the wrong way to look at things, all right? The truth is, you most likely won't blow up. And when it comes to blowing up, it doesn't create longevity for your brand. And what you want is to build longevity. You want this to last. You don't want to be a one-hit wonder type of, scenario. But the best thing to do is to build like a smaller community where people are loyal to your brand. They see you, they want to like your stuff, they comment, they repost, they do all that just because they love your brand, even though you're smaller. Like, it's more valuable than to get 1 million views and 200,000 followers because you did something that, made you viral, but it's really not the type of content you can replicate. Then it's like they don't even want to watch you anymore because, oh, I like that video, but now I don't like your other videos, so I'm clicking off. Like, see what I'm saying? You want to create longevity with this. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And it took me a while to get up to almost 1,700 followers. And I know I could be a lot bigger than that, but I do know that that's on me for doing things the wrong way. And, the more I continue with this and be consistent, the more I start to understand how to, work the systems and how to really create longevity for my brand and how to grow a community and all these things. So, pay attention to what I said, man. Really take all this in and remember this, because this is something that I should have known. This is something I should have researched and looked into when I first started out, because I feel that I could be in a way better position. So, I'm not the type to hate on no one or to gatekeep people from getting to the top. Like, at the end of the day, we all want the same thing. So I hope this video helps y'all. I hope this, takes y'all to where y'all want to go. Like, comment, subscribe, hit me up on Instagram if you need anything. Hit me up on Discord, it don't matter. And yeah, that's all I got.